don't know about you, but I haven't slept properly since the Game Awards. We all went in expecting something, maybe a teaser for the next mainline game, maybe just a logo, but what we got just confirmed that Crystal Dynamics is an absolute legend. We finally have a confirmation of full next-gen Unreal Engine 5 reimagining of the original 1996 debut. I've scoured every interview, analyzed every frame of that trailer, and read every press release from Amazon Games and Crystal Dynamics, so you don't have to. So in this video, I'll break down everything we know about Lara Croft's return to Atlantis.
That still burns.
The story and setting. The Scion returns. First things first, let me take you straight to the main story of the game. If you're a veteran, you know exactly where we're going. If you're newer to the franchise, maybe you came in with Survivor Trilogy and you are in for an history lesson. Legacy of Atlantis is retelling the story that started it all. We're going back to the hunt for the Scion. The premise is classic adventure pulp. Lara is hired by Jacqueline Knopfler, CEO of Knopfler Technologies, to recover an ancient artifact known as the Scion of Atlantis. What starts as a simple retrieval job in the mountains of Peru quickly spirals into a globe-trotting race against time, mercenaries, and literal ancient gods. From what we've seen and heard, the developers Crystal Dynamics, partnering with Flying Wild Hog, which is an interesting choice, by the way, are sticking very close to the original itinerary. We are definitely going to Peru, specifically the city of Vilcabamba. The trailer showed us that iconic snowy mountain entry, but fully realized with volumetric snow and wind physics that actually look freezing. Then we're heading to Greece. The press release mentioned ruined temples, which means St. Francis Folly is back. I can already hear the frustration of those vertical puzzle rooms, but imagine them with ray-traced global illumination bouncing off the marble. After that, it's Egypt, the city of Khamun. This is where the atmosphere usually shifts from lonely exploration to sun-baked isolation, and in UE5, the sand rendering is going to be insane. Finally, the title gives it away, Atlantis, the Lost Island. In the original, this was a biomechanical nightmare of flesh and gold. The snippets we saw hinted at a much darker, more HR Gigerous take on the Atlantean architecture. It's not just distinct levels anymore. Developers have spoken about a seamless feeling to these environments. The story isn't changing its core beats. Lara gets betrayed, she gets angry, and she saves the world, but the delivery is being expanded. They've confirmed that the lore notes and environmental storytelling will play a much bigger role, filling in the gaps that the 1996 hardware left to our imaginations. Gameplay. How does it feel? Alright, let's talk about that elephant in the room, the gameplay. The original Tomb Raider is famous or infamous for its tank controls and grid-based movement. You've had to line up a jump with mathematical precision or you're plummeting to your death. Legacy of Atlantis is ditching the grid. The gameplay is described as modernized survival adventure. Think the fluidity of Shadow of the Tomb Raider, but with the weight and acrobatics of Legend or Anniversary. Lara moves with 1:1 responsiveness now. The developers emphasized fluid acrobatic movement, which means wall running, grappling, and scrambling are likely integrated into the traversal. But here is the key difference that has me excited. They aren't turning it into an autopilot climbing simulator. They promise that the environment is still the puzzle. You can't just hold forward and watch Lara parkour up a cliff. You have to observe the terrain. The legends aren't painted bright white, thank God. You have to judge distances. Combat is also getting a massive overhaul. The Survivor Trilogy was very bow-heavy, very stealth-focused. Legacy of Atlantis is bringing back the dual pistols as the primary tool of destruction. The combat is faster, more acrobatic. We saw Lara sliding under a raptor's lunge while unloading clips into its belly. The underwater sections in the original were terrifying because of the breathe meter and the darkness. Here, the water physics look photorealistic. The murkiness, the way light refracts deep underwater, it's all going to make those flooded tunnels in the cistern absolutely claustrophobic. Lara Croft, the new unified look. Now let's talk about the lady of the hour. Lara Croft. For years we've had this divide. Classic Lara, the Teflon-coated superhero with the braid and the attitude, versus Survivor Lara, the grounded, traumatized, realistic character. Crystal Dynamics has been talking about a unified timeline for ages, and Legacy of Atlantis is finally showing us what that looks like. Lara's new model is stunning. She looks like a believable midpoint between the 2013 reboot Lara and the classic icon. She still has that realistic facial structure, pores, micro-expressions, scars, but the styling is pure 90s. She's wearing a classic teal tank top and cargo shorts, but the materials look tactical. It's functional gear, not just a costume. This Lara is confident, and in a trailer, when she sees the T-Rex, she doesn't scream in terror, she smirks. That is the Lara I grew up with. That dry British wit is front and center, and we have to talk about the voice. Alex Wilton Regan is taking over the mantle. You might know her from Cyberpunk 2077. She was the female British voice for V or Dragon Age. She has this incredible range. She can do the aristocratic posh accent, but she can also deliver the grit. Hearing her say, "I only play for sport," gave me literal chills. It sounded like she understood the assignment. She isn't trying to copy Keely Hawes or Judith Gibbons. She's bringing a slightly younger but equally sharp energy to the role. Trailer breakdown and atmosphere. Let's dissect that trailer real quick because the atmosphere is dripping off the screen. The video opened with silence, just the sound of wind and the crunching snow. Then the camera pans up to those massive carved stone doors of the Peruvian caves. The scale is what hit me first. In the PS1 days, everything felt enclosed because of draw distances. Here, the caverns looked endless. The lighting is doing so much heavy lifting. There was a shot in the cistern, the sewer level in Greece, where Lara drops a flare. The way the red light dynamically bounced off the wet, mossy stone walls and reflected in the rippling water. It was horror game levels of atmospheric. And then the classic choral theme kicking in, but orchestrated with these heavy cinematic drums. Lara steps out of a dark cave into a lush green jungle hidden inside a snowy mountain. In the trailer, the foliage density was dense, ferns brushing against her legs, birds scattering, and then the ground shakes. The T-Rex reveal was masterfully done. The scale of the T-Rex compared to Lara emphasizes how small we are. It felt like a boss fight, not just an enemy encounter. There was also a blink and you miss it shot of the doppelganger, that flesh creature that mimics your moves in Atlantis. In the new engine, that thing looked genuinely disturbing. The pulsating veins, the raw muscle texture, it leans into the body horror aspect of the Atlantean lore that the original hinted at but couldn't fully show. The atmosphere feels isolated. Modern games love to have an NPC chattering in your ear over a radio. There was none of that in the trailer, just Lara, her boots, and the tomb. That silence is a character in itself. The nostalgia factor, why this matters. So why does this hit so hard? Why are we all losing our minds over a game we've technically played before? It's the legacy. For a lot of us, Tomb Raider was the first time we explored a 3D world. It was the first time we felt that specific mix of wonder and terror. Legacy of Atlantis seems to understand that nostalgia isn't just about replicating the levels, it's about replicating the feeling of discovery. The nostalgia factor here is weaponized by the technology. Seeing the Sphinx in Egypt rendered with millions of polygons validates our childhood imagination. We always imagined it looked this real. Now it actually does. There's also the fact that this is a celebration of the 30th anniversary coming up in 2026. They are letting Lara be a superhero again after a decade of survival Lara. Seeing her back in her element, confidence, and untouched by trauma feels like all coming home. Marvelous verdict. A big moment for the fans. I've always loved to say that I'm cautiously optimistic, but actually, I'm fully hyped. Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis looks like the remake we've been dreaming of for 20 years. It's honoring the roots while using the absolute bleeding edge of tech to make it fresh. But that's just my take. I want to know what you guys think. Are you sold on the new voice? Are you worried they might change the level layouts too much? And seriously, are you ready to face that T-Rex again? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I'll catch you in the next one.